Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Almost to Generation X, but we are TNT. There's an Night Throwdown for another episode, episode number 18 here. Today is May the 14th, 2020. Alongside Shawn Bates of the Scumbags of Wrestling. My name is Chris Maloney, of course. Shawn, how's your week been?
Yeah, pretty quiet. No complaints. However, you've said to me numerous times, if you're going to do something right, you need to do it properly. So why did you half-ass that D-Generation X New Age Outlaws entry?
Well, because I'm in the other room, I've got a wife that's doing report cards right now and a toddler that's sleeping. So I can't.
You can still say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, TNT Thursday Night Throwdown proudly presents Thursday Night Throwdown with Chris Maloney and Shawn Bates.
And we've got Steven O'Neil on the line as well. We'll bring in momentarily here. Let's go through some stats. I started doing stats, and I'm kind of impressed. I started going all the way back, I think, to episode 10, which was kind of cool. So episode 17, which we did last week with the one and only Cody Deaner. And I'm trying not to mess up this show for once. But I've got screens all over the place. But there we go. Anyways, Cody Deaner. I'm not sure these stats on Facebook yet, but 453 people reached, 93 engagements. The thing I know is 136 views. So that video that I posted on Facebook, the interview with Cody Deaner, last week's show, has 136 views. I don't think it's one guy hitting the viewpoint 136 times. But anyways, that is good. Some of the stuff I've gone through and seen has over 200 views. Episodes, I'm like, okay, what the hell did we talk about? The WrestleMania episode, which was only part 1, because I ended up falling asleep during part 2. And part 1, I'll admit, I was drinking a few. And, next thing I know, I was like, well, hey, everybody else is talking about WrestleMania, so why not? I'm going to do this as well. We had like 230 views on that thing. I was like, holy crap, people were basically listening to me talk about absolutely nothing, which I'm kind of doing right now. So this should get some good hits as well. But we are growing. In saying that, we are on Twitch for the very first time tonight. Like I said, Facebook, we're doing well on. YouTube, we are getting the hits. So we had like 13 views on the Cody Deaner interview last week, but we're not getting the live response. And in saying that, you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, you're on Facebook, let us know. I will put the comment on the screen. We will answer as need be. On a serious note, I do want to bring this up and read this. So, young guy by the name of Steven, 8 years old. I believe his mom had posted on Facebook on the Ontario Indie Wrestling group. I'm just going to read this. So please read, all wrestling family. COVID-19 has been hard on so many people for so many reasons, be it financial, physical, or even mentally. The person I'm going to reach out for now has been affected emotionally and mentally. You see, there's a little fan that many of you have come to know, that attends as many shows as he physically can, and many of you fall in love with him, so I'm reaching out for your help. Quarantine has been really tough on Steven, as he is immunocompromised given complications he has. That being said, he's really depressed as of late, missing the wrestling family, both fans and wrestlers alike, and now I'm asking for your help. 2 weeks, Steven has a very important MRI scheduled. Severity of the MRI is crucial, as it will determine if you require a very invasive surgery later this year that will take him out for 3 months. Being that he's only 8, he takes everything with stride, but usually has wrestling to distract his mind with that. But right now, there are no hugs, no smack talk, no smashed tables or flippy shit. So he feels alone, isolated, and scared, as this MRI will be 4 hours in length and probably require an overnight stay at Sick Kids. I'm hoping everyone can help me out by sending him a video message wishing him luck, or sharing a special message for him during this time, and I will edit them together. They don't have to be long, but I know it would mean the world to him. So I'm going to kick Shawn and I off the screen just for a sec. And as you can see, that the picture right there that was behind us is Steven. Shawn, that picture, and you were beside me with this one, was taken at the I guess the Rebel Complex there in Toronto, the Impact tapings night 1. He was with Joe Hendry, Gato, was it Guido, and then Katarina Waters. Anyway, long story short, Joe Hendry ended up facing Tyson Dukes that night. Shawn and I were attending. It's pretty cool moments. The fact that wrestling's not taking place right now, it kind of breaks my heart to hear the story, from Crystal, I believe is his mom. I'm not 100% sure, but
yes, Crystal is his mom.
So anyways, I did a little bit of research on this. What he has is called Chiari malformation. And I know I butchered the name of it, but anyway, it's a condition in which brain tissue extends into your spinal canal. It occurs when part of your skull is abnormally small or misshapen, pressing on your brain and forcing it downward. For a lot more information on that, mayoclinic.org is the site I'm on. You can read all up about it, which I did earlier. Shawn, I'm going to get your thoughts just on his fight with this disease. Knowing it's incurable, he's gone through 2 different brain surgeries at the age of 8 years old. With your connections as far as what you do for a living, I mean, how do you cope with this? How do you, to me, as somebody who works retail, it's tough hearing and seeing this, learning about it. To you, who's part of it Monday to Friday, and even more so than that, how do you get through it? How do you uplift their spirits and keep them going?
Well, in my case, I work with people with disabilities, and we don't focus on the disability. We treat each other as just a regular person, like somebody who's equal in a way with us, and just do normal things every day. We saw Steven as part of that Impact Wrestling moment. Steven O'Neil and I saw him a couple seats down from us at the last Smash Wrestling event that we attended. And that little guy has quite the trash talking style to him. He definitely knows his stuff, and he's not afraid to hold back. He definitely let the wrestlers that were coming out towards us know what he thought of them. And that little guy has a lot of spirit to him. And to see some of the pictures he's taken over the last few years at different indie shows, the kid just loves being around the whole scene. And Steven, hopefully he gets his MRI and has a good result and good news.
Yeah, so the official hashtag that they're using for this is hashtag Steven's Wrestling Journey. For those listening on audio, you can see it up on the screen there. The website, his YouTube channel is streaming below, as well as you can see that in the background right now. So just if you go on YouTube, Steven's Wrestling Journey is what you want to search, and you can bring that up. Subscribe to his channel. And then he's got a couple cool things going on his channel. So it's a thing called Turnbuckle Talk, but he's got, Rey Mysterio, Casey Two Scoops Spinelli. His last one he did about 4 months ago was Toy Hunting with Steven. So Matt Cardano would be a huge fan of that. But anyways, check that out. Go to Facebook, go to YouTube, support him, show him that, you're out there, and, do some clips for him. I've reached out to Crystal to see if we can do some type of interview here on the show, not with him, but have him on the show interviewing, somebody he wants to interview. So just waiting to hear back from that. But I think it'd be a pretty cool just to be able to, to give him kind of a live platform to be able to interview somebody he wants to. So anyways, like I said, for more information, you can go to, the Thursday Night Throwdown, our group, or the Scumbags of Wrestling, or like I said, search on YouTube there. Just while I'm stopping the screen here, and I'm going to bring in Steven O'Neil. Steven, what are your thoughts on a little Steven there? The fact he's 8 years old, 2 surgeries already, and MRI scheduled.
Breaks my heart. I mean, he should know that we're all with him, and I really hope you can set something up, because I'd love to. I heard that kid. He has a 4. He makes me sound innocent. The 4-letter words that was coming out of his mouth, I loved it. Kind of sounds like us on this show when you get me going.
Yeah, that could be one of those nights tonight. So let me see. Richard Ryder, hope I pronounced that right. You guys using OBS? No, we are not, as I'm just getting the proper banners back in place here. We are actually using, and you will see a whole bunch of hype down below. So I've actually updated all our social media links, as well as the website address, which I've updated, which I'll talk about at the end of the show. But we are using StreamYard. StreamYard gives us the ability to go straight to Facebook and YouTube. Tonight we're going to Facebook as well as Twitch for the very first time, just to see, because with that, I still have the ability to upload to YouTube later. So it's not live on YouTube, but it will be live on Twitch, Facebook right now, and then uploaded to YouTube later. So thanks for that comment. All right, guys, let's get into some sort of wrestling talk, because there's quite a few topics on here. So what do I want to start with? All right, let's start with this. Alberto Del Rio. You guys obviously aware of what the hell took place. It's one of those things that you could see the pattern adding up. All the stuff that he had done when he was drunk or high, whatever the case may be, with regards to Triple H. He went off on Triple H one night, I think, on Twitter or Instagram, whatever the case was. Very toxic relationship with Paige, to the point, there was one, I think, conversation, something like that. Her brother got involved, and you could hear her yelling in the background, "Just leave me alone, leave me alone." And all of a sudden, she came to his defense. They part ways. He separates, goes on to Impact Wrestling, starts doing the MMA stuff. You don't hear much about his personal life anymore until the fact that all of a sudden now he's being arrested for, aggravated sexual assault. It's not a good story for him. Is it one of those things that needs to be broadcast in the wrestling business, kind of that private life of somebody we watch perform in the ring? And what's your guys' take on the whole situation, as well as the whole, his who he is outside of the ring? I mean, will he ever get help, or is this kind of like a Tammy situation where it's just going to happen over and over and over again?
Steven?
I mean, it's a sad situation. In a previous life, I was a social worker by trade, and until he gets help, I hope he does get help. We're going to find more and more stories like this. Wasn't there a domestic abuse at one point? Was he not involved in one of those too?
There was something that happened about a year ago that I think it was about a year ago that nobody had mentioned, and that I think came from Dave Meltzer. But yeah, that was kind of tucked under the rug there. But this is obviously public. He was arrested, released, obviously pending charges. What happens with him? It could, I think, 2 years in jail or something like that is what he's looking at minimum. Yeah, tough situation. Steven, you want to continue?
Yeah, I think it's a sad situation for that whole family. I really do hope he gets any sort of counseling and addiction services he needs. Until he does that, I think he's out of the wrestling sphere. I can't see him ever being picked up by a major company again. But I mean, I really just hope he gets some help, because it's a sad situation. I wouldn't want that to be anyone's family that they're going through right now.
Yeah, like, in all honesty, the guy has a good lineage to him. He's second generation at least. Super talented, whether you're doing MMA or wrestling, professional wrestling. But whatever problem is, he seems to be his own worst enemy. And, unfortunately, he makes scumbags look really good. This guy is so greasy that, I wouldn't want to even look at him to hire him again. He got let go by WWE, and next thing you know, Impact's hiring him, and all these other places think, oh, he's available, let's get him. But then no sooner he gets there, he starts off good and plummets. And until things get figured out in his life, like you pointed out, he could be the male version of Tammy Sitch. Hopefully she's out of jail. We've actually heard nothing negative about her at the moment, so that's, I guess, a good thing. So hopefully maybe the same thing needs to happen to him, go away for a while, and figure out his demons and go forward.
Very interesting about, what was it, 2? Was it 2 years ago we were doing the Sharpshooter podcast, or 3?
2
years ago. And we're talking about Enzo Amore and whether or not he was untouchable at that point. And then, I mean, obviously, he got through what he did, and then he, tried to come back, and then Kaz messed up and everything. But I mean,
there's a difference between Enzo Amore and Del Rio. Amore, yeah, he's kind of messed up personality-wise, but his accusations that he was facing were, turns out, unfounded. This guy, no, he's definitely doing what he's been accused of, and it's not just a first-time offense.
So I got to go back in time. Eddie Guerrero, he was messed up, got fired, got to a point where all of a sudden Vicky, his wife, didn't want to be around him and this and that. 9 times out of 10, these guys still continue these same bad patterns and everything else. I mean, do you guys think it's the wrestling business as a whole that's causing this, or do you think it's just personality traits and the wrestling business is basically what's shedding light on it all?
It's personality trait. It's personality, and being in the spotlight just brings attention to it. I mean, unfortunately, it's in all sorts of professions and all sorts of lives. Just you only really hear about it when it's this big, when it's someone famous, and unfortunately, he's in the wrestling business. I mean, there's no way that the wrestling business, given the wrestling business definitely brings in, or it used to bring in, a lot of extracurriculars, booze, pills, but this is past even that. That, like, there's booze and pills, and then there's being what he's accused of, which is heinous behavior.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. It happens not just in professional wrestling. It happens in any sort of walk of life. You don't even have to be famous. It could happen, and it's not, to any of us, right? Or an next door neighbor, for that matter. It could be. You pointed out, could it be the wrestling world perpetuating it? But if you look at some people like Triple H, the guy is notoriously a non-drinker. That's why he was brought into the clique, to be the stable one of them, right? So it's not necessarily wrestling world bringing everybody down. Owen Hart, which we'll be talking about for Dark Side of the Ring coming up this week. He didn't do anything. He saved his money, did travels, didn't get into any trouble that way. So it's not the wrestling business. There is a way of being famous, do your job, and still be normal, or at least a productive member of society, and not being a shithead doing crimes.
Well, obviously swearing is out the window this episode, but anyways, that's all right. It's funny that we're talking about, well, I shouldn't say funny, but it's we're talking about Alberto Del Rio, and then all of a sudden you guys are mentioning about other sports and everything else as well. Mike Tyson, which we will touch base on momentarily here. We got John Bones Jones of the UFC, which I'm going to transition into momentarily. I know you guys aren't UFC fans, but I've been following it since day one. I'm starting to catch back up as far as everything that's been going on. But when the WWE was shit and they were putting fucking, well, okay, there's a F-bomb on the show, but when they had Yokozuna and Undertaker facing off in casket matches, and all of a sudden Undertaker's rising up, it's like, oh, hey, wait a second, what's this UFC stuff? So back in the mid-90s when they first started coming out with is when I really started first watching it. Kind of fell out. Now I'm starting to get back into it. But I'm going to give you guys 5 topics. I just want a brief, just basically thought on it as a whole, because I know you guys aren't UFC fans. But so it starts out. So UFC 249 took place on Saturday. Jacare Souza tests positive for COVID-19. The event still continues. UFC fighters signed COVID-19 waiver, includes a non-disparagement clause. Basically, they can't go and slam UFC or any of what's going on that weekend. Good thing about everything, GSP was announced for 2020 UFC Hall of Fame class, which was the good news. Henry Cejudo basically retires following UFC title defense, which, I mean, is kind of unheard of in MMA world. And Justin Gaethje wins the interim UFC title at UFC 249. Obviously, him versus Khabib is going to be in the works down the line. You talk about bad boys as far as UFC goes, John Bones Jones, Conor McGregor, both of those guys right there. So first of all, thoughts on one guy testing positive right before the event and for COVID-19, and the event's still taking place. GSP going into the UFC Hall of Fame, or you can basically comment on the fact that guy defends his title and then basically retires right after the match. I guess just a thought on any one of those 3 topics as a whole. Even the legacy of GSP, or the fact of the COVID-19 taking place and UFC not canceling. So a Dana White call right there. Another shithead, as Shawn would probably put it. So Shawn, I'll get your thoughts first on any of that, and then Steven will, we'll get whatever thoughts you want to have.
Okay, so Conor McGregor, obviously, I would say yes, I agree that he should go into Hall of Fame. He is probably one of the most popular names that coming out.
GSP, not Conor McGregor.
See, we're already ruined. You mentioned Connor.
You're gonna have somebody listen to this, but what the fuck? Stop talking about UFC if you can't even get the names right. No, not Conor McGregor. He's going to the UFC Hall of Fame eventually. GSP, George Rush St. Pierre, that guy from Montreal, trained in the TriStar gym up there.
Okay, well, he definitely deserves it as well. He's probably the only famous Canadian to come out of for UFC that anybody were to name him.
I will debate you anytime you want to on this famous Canadian UFC shit. David the Crow Loiseau, Patrick Cote, Olivier Aubin Mercier. I can keep going on if you want me to. Who is the name I'm forgetting though? Sam Stout, here from London, Ontario. Hands of Stone.
There's the three of them that own a gym there on York Street, all from London.
Yeah, Sam Stout, Mark Homisick, and Chris Hordecki.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Adrenaline MMA. I'll take you there sometime, Shawn. I'll tap you out.
There we go. So there's certain names that you, even if you're not a fan of MMA, you're going to recognize. Just like anybody who wasn't a fan of wrestling would recognize the names of Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper and stuff like that for being wrestlers. Yes, I don't follow UFC, but obviously very talented and famous and well-deserving of getting into Hall of Fame. So as far as going with the still continuing after somebody proved positive, that signing off just totally was Dana White washing his hands of it and going, hey, give me your I'll get money, but don't take my money if you get in trouble.
They also put it on another show yesterday, by the way, as well. So they had two shows within a matter of 5 days. So,
and they're doing one on Saturday as well.
Yeah. So, and that'll be the three that they were given permission to do, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, before Fight Island gets set up. But are the ones that participated or were in the same hotel as the guy who tested positive? Are they at least performing and isolated for at least 14 days to say that they don't pop up and spread it around?
Well, that would be the interesting thing. So if they can get Khabib to come over to Fight Island or whatever the case may be, how the hell are you going to let this guy back into his country of Russia, or Conor McGregor at that? If we see Conor McGregor actually fight on UFC, say on this mysterious magical Fight Island that keeps being talked about, is Ireland going to let him back in? I don't think he has enough money or whiskey over there to be able to to kind of say, hey, let me back through. I think they're all pretty much fucked if you want to talk about it. I mean, you come over to the States or Fight Island, whatever the case may be, forget about going back to your home country until COVID's over. Steven, what are your thoughts on any organization as far as MMA or professional wrestling putting on a show, even though one of their competitors that was about to go in the ring and compete, the Octagon in this case, test positive for COVID? Dumb idea, or show must go on?
Dumb. I mean, you can't be playing with this stuff anymore. Like, I obviously don't follow UFC. I would watch George St. Pierre's fights because, well, everyone did. But I mean, I would love to know, were they changing the canvas between every fight? Were they changing the pad? Like, isn't there pads between, like, on the fence there, the poles in the cage?
Yeah, so an octagon, so you get the cage and then you get the post.
Yeah,
and you get the mat, right?
Yeah, are they not padded or not padded?
There is padding all across the top, and there's padding coming down with each post.
I would love to know if they changed the padding on every fight, the canvas on every fight, everything got sanitized between every fight, because that shit's like, you can't. If a wrestling show was going to happen and someone tested positive, like, just cancel it, postpone it. This is how someone's going to get sick, and we're all going to be back in this position. We're finally making steps, and if they do this Fight Island, people are going to be stuck on this island. It's going to be bad. It's fucking Dana White. He's going to fuck this up.
What was that pig's book? Was it Lord of the Pigs? All these kids end up getting stranded on this, and the next thing you know, they said they all get messed up. I can see all the fighters becoming the same way. Anyways,
huh?
Yeah,
Oh, is it? Is that what it?
Yeah,
What do they call it? Lord of the Pigs?
Flies.
A Lord of the Flies. Okay. I'm going to put some comments up. Just a guy I work with here. So Dylan Moore says, "Hey, Chris." Followed up by, "I challenged Chris to a wrestling match. LOL." Followed up by, "We should totally set up a wrestling ring at work, Chris. LOL." And then what's he say? LOL is like washing the carts at work every second. LOL once again. All right, Dylan. Thanks for your comments. Yeah, you set up that wrestling ring. I will kick your ass at work, but we got to do it off the clock.
He's a Kenny Omega fan. You probably can beat him real easy. Don't worry about it.
Let it go, Steven. What do we want? Do you know what? We're on this roll. There is some good stuff to talk about, but the fact is, I'm in a shitty mood as far as the UFC went. So I'm going to continue this because if you notice the backdrop in behind us is a picture of Sami Zayn wearing the Intercontinental Championship over his shoulder. Collecting my voice there because I got something to say. So Shawn and I almost got into a spat right before the show started to air. I said, you know what? Do me a favor. I know you probably don't agree with what I'm going to say, but just to hear me out, okay? So the fact is, and Shawn, I can see him itching right now. But there he goes. He goes, the floor is mine. So here we go. So what I don't agree with, and I understand the fact that Sami Zayn was given the opportunity not to perform for the WWE based on the COVID-19. Okay, he is Canadian. I believe he still lives in Montreal, whatever the case. So he thought he was safe, okay, from any kind of repercussion at all from the WWE, Vince McMahon, Triple H, NXT, whatever the case may be. Problem with that is you've got the NXT Cruiserweight Championship right now up in an inaugural interim tournament taking place G1 Climax style to crown an interim champion basically until Jordan Devlin can get back over to the country to defend the title properly. Obviously, it sets up a feud. I agree with that, okay? You got the fact is Jordan Devlin's still champ taking on this new champ, whoever it's going to be. But then you got the Sami Zayn situation, those stupid fucker WWE guys who all of a sudden now they're stripping him of the title because he doesn't want to work for the WWE right now because basically he doesn't want to get sick. He's protecting his family. He's protecting anybody back there in Montreal. So as opposed to being like, you know what, hey, we're going to put you over here. We're going to suspend the Intercontinental Championship that you have. We're going to put it on a tournament, battle royal, whatever the case may be, determine a new champion, and then you guys can fight it out when this shit is all said and done. So how come Jordan Devlin gets to keep his championship and Sami Zayn, who was told he's protected, go home, take a nap, take a rest, don't be part of this COVID-19 thing because obviously you don't want to get sick, but hey, we're going to strip you from, from the title a couple months down the road. So go ahead, piss on that. Piss on the WWE. That's my viewpoint, not in TNT, but Chris Maloney saying whatever the hell I want to about the Sami Zayn situation. But I am hot and I am upset and I think it's crazy. So Shawn, go ahead. Steven, if you want to comment as well. But yeah, I'm gonna drink my White Claw right now.
They just reeled you into being the most dumb mark possible. And I'm meaning not just you, but anyone who buys into that same mentality. How many interim tournaments, interim champions can one organization have? The belt is a prop. They've said it forever. Yes, guys like Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and anybody else who's decided to sit home are able to sit home. They're doing the proper thing. Those who want to work are working. They have show to continue. Like I said, how many interim championship things can you do? They're doing it over on NXT, and that's going okay. NXT also had the opportunity to do the same sort of thing last night because Pete Dunne isn't able to wrestle, and he's trapped over in the UK. What did they do? They didn't strip the titles. They made them lose the titles. It's a storyline. Sami Zayn is stripped of the title. Do you think he's going to come back and be pushed down the card and be punished and all this other crap that people want to talk about? He will be able to come back, seek revenge for being not properly losing his title. He'll go after the same person who holds the belt when he gets back, just like Jordan Devlin will go after whoever wins the interim title. It's just a different way of putting it out there. As far as people saying Roman Reigns is getting punished because, he's not being shown. Yeah, you remove him when you can go back into a regular situation or he's able to come back. here comes your big pop because people haven't seen or talked to him at all. It's all storyline and to reel in fans, regardless of how it's presented, of a temporary champ waiting for the other guy to return, a new champ waiting for the other guy to return, or just take the belts off the champions and put it on some other team like Imperium. They're keeping the belts going while the show's going, even if the talent can't work.
I wish we could go fucking back in time right now and debate this Razor Ramon Shawn Michaels shit and see what he had to say about that too.
It was perfect. It set up an amazing match like we saw at WrestleMania 10 in that ladder match, which is still, in regards of the bar of setting for what a ladder match should be. Everybody else is trying to compete with what the second ladder match ever was, because we all know Brett and Shawn was the first one on Coliseum Home Video, but it was Shawn and Razor, and that was a perfect setup, which is what they're doing with Jordan Devlin, or what they can do with Sami Zayn when they return.
You're going to regret your words because going to put that fucking strap on Baron Corbin, then we're all going to be in trouble.
So write this down. I actually agree with Chris. Yeah, I know. Write it down because could be one of very.
It's a swearing show, so holy fucking shit right there.
I think they should have kept the title on Sami Zayn. I think he can't perform because doesn't he have a disease or something? I feel like he's stuck in Canada, but regardless, I really think they should have kept him, did an interim title for the IC. I mean, you can have one on the main roster, one on NXT, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I think you could have put it on a younger guy and had Zayn and him whenever, but I agree on, as weird as this sounds with Chris, I would have liked to see it be an interim. I know it's a prop, but if you're going to do one, keep it consistent. That's all I ask for. Consistent.
So then I asked, though, both of you, what's the difference between doing interim and waiting for the champion to return, or stripping, crowning, and waiting for the former champion to return?
I got this, Chris. I got this.
Okay.
Because interim, you automatically set up a champion versus champion. Now, with you stripping him, it's now whoever's the new champion, and when and if like Sami Zayn then has to be fit back into the storyline. Interim, you have interim versus champion, and it's a natural storyline. Now you have to fucking figure out how to get this. I know I'm going to go off. Shocked. I told you this before. I was in a grumpy mood. Before, like if I swear to God, if Baron Corbin wins, oh Lord Jesus.
No, I see it going to a fan favorite. That's why Jordan Devlin only got put as an interim, because he's a fan favorite. He's not a heel. Sami Zayn is a heel. You take it off him, put it on a fan favorite, and when Zayn is able to return, you have a pissed off, disgruntled guy who got stripped for no apparent reason and is gunning for your fan favorite current holder of the title because he should be the rightful champion. Either way, the same story is out there. Most likely.
Sorry, didn't they announce the 8 competitors in this tournament thing?
Nothing I've seen yet.
I've only seen a picture that had 7 competitors, and was curious who the other 8th would be, because somebody on Facebook posted, what was it? Morrison, Corbin, Sheamus, Cesaro. There was Gulak and 2 others.
So if you put Gulak in there, Daniel Bryan's probably going to be in there as well. So there's 6. So the 2 other guys. So I'm going to say this as a wrestling fan, as well as somebody who understands professional wrestling. And as Shawn put it, not as a fucking mark. But the fact is, I understand the theory and the thinking behind what you guys are saying. The problem is, and I hate saying this, but it's legit, Sami Zayn does not have that star power. So all of a sudden, you set up an interim champion versus the new champion. Yes, you have Sami Zayn still in that picture, that title picture. You do what you're doing to Sami Zayn right now, where all of a sudden you're stripping him of the title. And this is the same company where all of a sudden Brody Lee now is in the main event coming up at friggin' the next AEW pay-per-view. And the WWE put him aside and be like, hey, you're not working for a while. Same fucking thing could happen to Sami Zayn. He could be medically cleared. COVID could be over. And next thing you know, the former Intercontinental Champion is now just sitting on the bench. And that's my fear about a guy like Sami Zayn, because he doesn't have the star power.
No, I see he left pretty hot. If they didn't want anything to do with him, they wouldn't have pulled that whole thing with him retaining the title at WrestleMania against Daniel Bryan. They would have quickly switched it over to Bryan and over and done with. They have plans for Sami Zayn being that chicken shit heel manager / wrestler that is holding on that title. They had plans for him to keep on going. Now, when he comes back, we can mark this date of this episode number 18. When he comes back, if he's not instantly in the title picture, then I'll admit I was wrong. But he's coming back pissed off and going for the title that he rightfully should be holding.
I'll tell you this, being pissed off, okay? If he comes back and he's in that fucking title picture immediately, I will shave this fucking beard, okay? That's me saying this on air. That's how much I can tell you right now, in the 18 episodes that we've done of this show, and this beard has existed that whole 18 episodes and has been growing greatly. The fact is, I will shave the beard if all of a sudden, right after Sami Zayn comes back, he's in that title picture. There you have it on the show. Silence. Good. All right. Quick thoughts on these 5 topics, guys, because we're running out of time. It's been an interesting episode. Becky Lynch and being pregnant, Asuka getting the title. Just quick thoughts on it.
Steven?
I mean, she's pregnant. She has to give up the title.
Is Asuka the right choice, though?
No, but when did they ever do anything good or correct? But I assume there's got to be a program somewhere, but I don't really know. I don't get it.
All right, Shawn?
It instantly turned Asuka face, even though some people were questioning whether she was face or heel going into Money in the Bank. Just the way she's been acting lately, people are loving it, but she was still, the Kabuki Warriors were still doing heel tactics, but now this definitely puts her into a face moment. I kind of wonder how much she knew going into that announcement the other day, because, you know, they might have sent her out there to say, hey, play it up like Asuka, and she got the title, but she genuinely looked surprised when Becky mentioned the whole, you be a warrior, I'm going to go be a mom. And just the look on her face, I think that was totally legit. And, you know, because she prayed around getting, rubbing the fact that she got the title. And it was total 180 for her personality-wise. Like, that was, I think, the real woman, not the character, just in genuine shock and happy for Becky at that time. So, you know, and of course there's been memes all over the place being this second person that Seth Rollins is forced into dropping a title. Third person he's made take out of wrestling due to not being safe. So, you know, there's tons of memes out there involving this, and, you know, happy for both her and Seth.
All right. Thoughts on the rumors of Vince McMahon firing XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck based on the fact he was using company cell phone for personal use and going against Vince McMahon's wishes of hiring an NFL or potentially hiring an NFL guy that had some kind of history to him. Another Vince McMahon power trip, so to speak.
No.
If he broke rules, then and wasn't doing the job he was asked to do, it's no different than any of us in our current jobs. If we're not doing what we're supposed to do, thanks for coming out, sport.
Thanks for coming out, sport. All right. Mike Tyson AEW Championship. What are you guys feeling on the AEW front as far as them bringing in Mike Tyson to present the TNT championship there, Steven, to either Cody or Lance?
I mean, if this was 1997, it would be cool. It's 2020. I have zero. I don't understand where Mike Tyson fits into that. Him presenting the title. It's different if it was someone in. I just don't get it. I don't at all. I'm really confused. So I don't understand why it's Mike Tyson out of. You fucking have Arn Anderson. You have Tully Blanchard. You have all these people, and you pick Mike Tyson because he lives in Las Vegas. Cool. I don't get it. That's not someone who I had to reread it 3 or 4 times to try to figure out if I was reading that right. And unfortunately I was.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mike is kind of a hot topic at the moment because there's talk about him wanting to step back into the ring, even at his age. And the odd thing is, just I think the day before or even hours before that announcement got inserted into yesterday's episode of Dynamite, people were thinking it was going to be Sting because Sting apparently isn't with WWE anymore. His contract's up. And next thing you know, they're pulling Tyson's name out of nowhere. Let's just hope he doesn't think he's going to be part of DX and starts crotch chopping while he's out there, and or looking for Cold Stone so they can have another round with Cold Stone.
It'll be interesting. Hopefully it's a one and done. Last little bit, Sting in the WWE, they're apparently done. Where do we see him going?
WWE again. They're going to eventually offer him money, and he won't be able to say no.
And if he gets his wish to possibly do the thing with Undertaker after now that they did the Boneyard match, there's new life to be given to both Undertaker and Sting to make it happen, at least satisfy the fans in the imaginary world of the cinematic presentation of WWE. It could be just a power play at the same time, like he didn't sign, and all of a sudden his figure's not going to be in the new batch of Mattel toys and everything, and just his name being out there for AEW does give him sort of that leverage that he's no longer with us. He could go there, and Vince is going to throw money at him. So it won't surprise me if he's there.
All right, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Some quick notes. Rachel Ellering, free agent once again. Crazy Steve, Sue Young, Tasha Steelz have been signed by Impact Wrestling. Christian is on After the Bell with Corey Graves this week. Excalibur is on AEW Unrestricted. That launched today. Undertaker The Last Ride, Chapter 2, The Redemption, is taking place this coming Sunday. Apparently, he's going to start going into more detail as far as where his future and his career goes. I guess not last night, but 2 nights ago, Last Ride of the Road Warriors. Did you guys see it?
Watched it this morning.
I have not seen it yet. I will be watching it after this. It's just been one of those weeks.
So second best ratings in the series history. So that's season 1 and season 2. Shawn, what are your thoughts on it? Because I know there was somebody on the Scumbags message group that didn't think too highly of it. What were your thoughts on the episode?
It was a decent episode. This season has had good episodes. Some of the stuff have been meh in just their content. It's still interesting to watch. A good documentary series. I will definitely watch it. I'm looking forward to what topics they come up with season 3. But unfortunately, if you followed wrestling long enough, and I got the DVD from WWE with the Warriors that they put together, 90% of what was presented the other night in Dark Side, people knew. It was just a different presentation of how it was given to us. So it's good to see in a different light, but nothing earth-shattering got brought in. I'm definitely looking forward to this week with this season finale being Owen Hart, because you're going to have Martha, Oj, possibly Athena is going to be in it. I'm not sure if his daughter was part of it. And who else is going to be talking about Owen? And it's almost exactly 21 years to the day that it happened, that it's being presented. I think it's like 2 days off. So it'll be on the 20th instead of, or sorry, the 20th, and he fell on the 23rd. So 3 days different.
Almost 19th. So next Tuesday, May the 19th, will be the actual date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, you should know that with your birthday coming up.
I know, but, just with this whole COVID-19, it's what, the 100th of Mayuary?
Yeah, something like that.
Everything just blends in. Weekends don't matter. You're just like, man.
But you are right. Yes, Owen Hart passed away back in May 23rd, 1999. Obviously, tragically. Kind of weird. I was going through birthdays and dates today, and the 18th. So May the 18th, the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith passed away back in 2002. He's only, I think, early 40s. So to know they passed away within 5 days of each other, just different dates. I mean, I guess 5 days in 3 years. That's kind of insane. But yeah, the final days of Owen Hart's coming up next week, Tuesday on Crave TV. Guys, touch base, Money in the Bank thoughts. Quick. I mean, the show was, I couldn't believe it was over at 9:30, but any highlights that stand out for you guys at all?
I think the Seth and Drew match was probably one of the best matches of the night. I was in the middle with the presentation of Money in the Bank itself. Hopefully it gets put into a video game, just this scenario sort of deal. But they made it seem as though they were going to start in the same spot. They didn't. They started in the gym and in the lobby. The cameos are what they were. I didn't understand the Doink one. I think at the same time it could have been a little bit longer. And with some of the people who were participating in it, they could have had a few more serious and violent moments. But then when they finally got up to the roof, the latter part of the match itself was, 2 to 5 minutes tops of ladder action. But yeah, half hour for both those matches, done by 9:30. Can't really complain. I know there was a lot of people crapping on the whole event, and no, I enjoyed it.
Steven, any highlights that stand out for you?
I mean, the Drew McIntyre match was highlight of the night. Like, I was shocked that it was 9:30. I thought I was really confused by the time, but fucking lad, like Money in the Bank, he fucking threw Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black over the fucking edge, and they were on TV the next night.
Yes, but they got to explain that they only fell 6 feet to another roof. I honestly, because of it being the cinematic world and what we saw at WrestleMania with the other two, I expected at least one person to go off the roof, Hans Gruber style, with them going, ah!
I was very, Why? They do the Boneyard so well, and then they do Acid Trip #2 on Firefly Funhouse, and then I didn't understand. I didn't understand the fucking cameos. Oh my god. Are they trying to put me in an early grave or to get me an alcohol or drug problem soon? Because I think they might.
All right, I want to switch over to Japan right now.
Well, what was your thoughts, Chris?
I'm going to pass on that just simply because of the fact it was. Yeah, I'm going to pass on that. Maybe future episode, but the only reason I'm passing is the fact is I've seen 2 shit shows by the WWE in a row. Second night at WrestleMania, and then all of a sudden this Money in the Bank thing. So Backlash, I got to say I'm not looking forward to. So I'll leave it at that. But what I am looking forward to is New Japan Pro Wrestling coming back. Do you guys agree with the fact that Harold Mage came out and said that so there's 3 reasons why New Japan Pro Wrestling is not existing right now. To protect the health and safety of wrestlers and staff, venues being unavailable to use for New Japan Pro Wrestling events, and New Japan's own corporate social responsibility. In saying that, there is a lead into something else I want to get you guys thoughts on. So DDT Pro Wrestling, a place that Steven I know loves, and Mike, Psycho Mike Rollins has been part of, will conduct an open experience for what is presumably the first ever Zoom-based remote pro wrestling match with 100 audience members in the chat room providing cheering crowd noise for the wrestlers. Do you guys have any thoughts on that as far as excitement at all, or do you think it's going to be like, what the hell are we watching and listening to?
It's going to be what the hell. Yeah, for fuck's sakes. You must bring up DDT just to piss me off at the end of this call? Really? I mean, this is going to be stupid. They're going to fuck this up, and I'm going to end up screaming and yelling, and then you're going to say, I just hate people. It's just a standard. You're going to like it. I'm going to hate it. Yeah, it's going to be exactly what I think it is.
Okay, let's put it to you then. What's your favorite wrestling promotion out there right now?
Right now?
Top 3 then.
Pre-COVID, obviously, right?
Pre-COVID, yes.
I mean, I was really digging, as weird as it sounds, the NWA. I was really digging MLW, the Contra Unit, and Jacob Fatu, which is, he's insanely good. And probably, well, Smash, but I didn't mind some WWE, but I mean, NXT, I was really digging NXT.
Okay, so let's put it this way. If MLW were to give you an exclusive event, you could sign up for $5 to be one of 100 guys to basically be able to watch a live pay-per-view, a live show happening where you could have fan interaction with, and you and 99 other people could take part in this, and the rest of the world had to wait, say maybe a week or a couple days to be able to see this. Would you take part in it? Would you throw your $5 to MLW to potentially see Contra or Jacob Fatu or the Hart Foundation as part of this event, like just maybe one match that lasted like 30 or 40 minutes long?
Is it going to be a thong match? Because if not, then yes, I would spend that money. But DDT's going to do something dumb, and you're going to like it, and I'm going to hate it, and we're going to just fight about it.
So it's not the concept, then, it's the promotion.
Yes.
Okay. Shawn, your thoughts?
I've been on way too many Zoom conferences and meetings over the last while, and the thing that ticks me off the most of them is having, in this case, it would be 100 people all going, hi, and there's like a 3 to 7 second delay. So you're going to get a pop after the fact. And it's all going to be choppy, and unless everybody's muted, but then that takes away from the reason to have it, and it's just going to be a real annoyance. I would actually prefer to wait to see it in my own version, whether it's at home or see it live, where the crowd noise is not affecting the outcome. Like, no, I would not sit through a Zoom call wrestling match.
All right. Interim NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Group A has Kushida 2-0, Jake Atlas 2-1, Drake Maverick 1-1, Tony Nese 0-3. Group B, Akira Tozawa 2-0, El Hijo del Fanta. I screwed up. Anyway, 1-1. Gentleman Jack Gallagher at 1-2. Isaiah Swerve Scott at 1-2 as well. The other side of things, Impact Wrestling's having a tournament of their own. Trey beat Rohit this past Tuesday. Sami Callihan and Elgin are fighting this coming Tuesday. Shamrock and Rano on the other side of things fighting this coming Tuesday as well. Hernandez and Madman Fulton. Hernandez actually went over. Guys, I know you probably don't follow Impact Wrestling as much as me, but if you were to take a pick between Sami Callihan and Elgin going on to the next round, who would you pick?
Probably Elgin.
I would hope Elgin, but I actually watched Impact this week.
So I watched it as well. What did you think of the whole show?
It was the best sleeping drug I've ever had. I'm sorry, it's I can't buy Trey and Rohit in the world title tournament, and they're 2 or triple X or XXL fucking tag team. Oh, fuck. Like, really, people? They have talent. They have so much talent. And then I'm like, fuck, you guys fucked this up. I just don't get it. I don't like what they're doing with the North. The stupid videos that they shot up here in Mississauga.
Hey, I got something for you. So, you saw Impact Wrestling on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 2 guys that were in the ring with the North, one of those guys was Matthew Grant. Matthew Grant is from the Empire. Remember that tag team that you were unfamiliar with as far as the Fantasy Warfare tournament went?
Yes.
So Matthew Grant was the smaller guy with the beard.
Oh, cool. It was still horrible. Like, I just don't understand why present the North like that. It makes them a comedy act, and
But it was because Josh Alexander was so serious in that, and then Ethan Page was just being Ethan Page. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. And then all of a sudden you had George Iceman doing the gimmick on the mic, and I loved it. If they do more of that stuff, I will tune in every single week. Sean, I'll get you.
Cody's still stuck on the side of the road.
Oh yeah, and Cody's still second. Yeah, that right there. I mean, that's another reason to watch Impact Wrestling right there. Cody in quarantine. Sean, I'll get your thoughts on the other side of things. Potential of either Kushida or Jake Atlas taking on Akira Tozawa in the finals for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. What do you think?
I think it'll be Kushida.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Kushida versus Jordan Devlin. As a wrestling fan, I'd love to see that. AEW this week, 654, NXT 604. Highlights Daniels versus Brody Lee main event. Shida, number 1 contender. MJF returned. Vanguard 1 destroyed. The other side of things, NXT 604. Imperium defeated Matt Riddell, Timothy Thatcher to become the new champs. Finn Balor got beat by Cameron Grimes, which surprised me. And then not too much else, I believe, happened. I mean, they're setting up Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, so it looks like they're making Finn Balor in the face down there in NXT. AEW Double or Nothing coming up this coming, I guess, next Saturday, May 23rd. NXT, is that Saturday? Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? So it's Saturday, May 23rd. Now it's NXT TakeOver in your house, June 7th. WWE Backlash 2020 taking on June 14th. Of the 3 events just mentioned, what are you guys most looking forward to between Double or Nothing, TakeOver, as well as Backlash?
Be interested to see what they do with TakeOver, with them doing the In Your House. Is it going to be a nostalgia show? Is it going to be a straight up NXT current presentation? What is their theme, and how is it going to affect? Like, that's the big question mark, I think, right now on that. As far as AEW, like, the big match is going to be Cody and Archer, and that the title, the AEW championship with Brody Lee and Moxley is going to be like middle of the card, and you have a let's do our own Money in the Bank ladder match with a poker chip hanging above the ring. Like, they don't want to be WWE, but they are WWE light at times. It's just like, make up your mind, get your own image. And I think somebody else brought it up on a different show that I was listening to. If you've looked at all the AEW World Champions or World Championship matches, who have been involved in them? How many AEW originals or anything like that have been part of it? It's all been WWE former talent involved with that bloody belt. You don't want to be WWE, then don't be WWE.
Steven's nodding his head here.
The thing is I actually enjoyed the Casino Royale Battle Royal, whereas the groups, and it was unique. Now you're doing a ladder match just after Money in the Bank with the same concept.
But it starts off with 2 guys, and they could get the chip before any of the other 7 come out, and the match is over.
Yeah, sure.
That's going to happen, just like 2 out of 3 falls matches don't go to the 3rd fall. I think I've only seen once where I think it was Dustin and Steve Austin went 2 straight falls in WCW. But every other 2 or 3 falls match has to go 3 falls. all 9 guys are going to come out before that chip is claimed.
All right, Steven, Backlash, NXT, or AEW Double or Nothing? What are you most looking forward to?
Probably NXT. Just the in-your-house concept. I remember watching it as a kid. It'll be interesting what their concept truly is. I mean, I will probably buy the AEW pay-per-view just to see what type of. There's so much potential. I mean, I'm actually interested in the the Naira Rose versus the
Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm interested in Britt Baker versus the Alien. Chris Statlander has some talent, but I'm not interested in a fucking alien gimmick.
You weren't into Max Moon back in the day?
No.
Do you even know who Max Moon is?
Conan.
As well
And
as Paul Diamond as well.
Oh. Ooh.
From Ontario.
I mean,
right.
I just don't. They should have really postponed this probably a little longer, because with what they've taped, I don't even know any of the other matches other than I think 4.
We'll go through them next week because we'll do a full preview on it.
Oh yeah,
and, we can talk about the Alien again. Last little bit before we sign off. Smash Wrestling right now. I mean, we're diehards. What's more exciting to you guys here? Smash Wrestling best entrance polls in their tournament that's over there, or Scott Hunter and his social media stuff right now?
Scott Hunter's pretty funny, and I enjoy watching Scott Hunter with a wrestler watching a match. Kevin Bennett versus Jay White, I want to say.
Yeah, he did that Tyson Dukes as well as Psycho Mike as well.
I didn't see the Psycho Mike. And then Tarek, that was just the one this week, or?
Yeah, I haven't seen the Psycho Mike one yet.
Versus Zack Sabre Jr., I want to say. But they've been good. I mean, it's interesting. I don't mind the polls because it's been kind of interesting to go back and watch the music.
How about Scott going nuts in his apartment there?
I just assumed it's all of us. He's just putting on video.
He's having some fun, so it's at least some good content. He even got the attention of Alicia too, interview queen herself. She asked him how he was doing his split screens and everything. So I guess it's inspired her.
Well, that's a good thing. All right, so independentwrestling.tv, support them there. ProWrestlingTees.com, support them there as well. Sean, what's going on in Scumbags of Wrestling? Anything new? Anything exciting? You're probably waiting for this COVID shit to get over with so you can get back on track with your social media.
Yeah, just waiting. Doing episode number 105 this weekend. Yeah, just a lot of what we talked about. Running down the results of Money in Bank this past weekend. And, yeah, if anything comes out between now and recording time of stupidity outside the ring, I hopefully will have it covered.
Steven, you looking forward to Fantasy Warfare Tournament tomorrow?
Yes. It will be interesting because it's manager's valet, so it'll be actually interesting to see how we're going to
judge
winner, because it's been different with tag teams and what we have the 2 tag teams, I guess, tournaments we've done, but managers valets, you can't really picture them necessarily in the ring, so it'll be interesting how we're gonna.
It's interesting. Well, you say that it's interesting the way we do it. So I get 5 picks. Sean gets 5 picks. Steven got 5 picks. And that 16th pick, as opposed to just doing a random thing, we've thrown it up on the Scumbags of Wrestling. Anybody want to announce who the fuck is the 16th member this
fuck.
week?
They just want to hear me yell and scream, I'm sure of this.
Apparently, because I thought it was going to be a woman. She would have been almost in my top 5. The 5 that I picked are not necessarily my top 5. I just picked some people who I thought should be at least considered, try and get a good mix. And Woman was right there on the bubble whether she was going to be in it compared to, say, Teddy Long. I almost pulled him in exchange for Woman. But
other people that were on that list with Oliver Humperdinck, Slick. Slick, I voted for. Steven, you want to announce who 16 was?
Fucking Virgil.
Lonely Virgil.
Are we kidding? I voted for Woman because I thought I almost pulled Sonny out for Virgil, or for fucking Virgil, for Woman. Fuck. These people have me going now. But I voted for Woman. I really thought Woman would have won that poll, but I'm going to need some anger management, I'm pretty sure, the more we do these.
We'll have to see how it plays out when they get randomized into the tournament brackets. And
we can't wait to see these brackets. These are going to be something.
Yeah, because, Chris, do you want to at least tell who our 16 are before they get matched up?
Yep, I can do that. I just got to bring up Facebook because I haven't put it into a Word document yet. So hold on a second. While I'm doing this, though, I will explain. So we are exclusive on Patreon. Patreon.com/TN Throwdown CA is where to find us. We still are fairly new at this. There's been talk of release in past episodes, probably like a month down the line. So you will see it eventually come up to YouTube or Facebook or whatever the case may be. But right now they're exclusive to Patreon. Patreon.com/TN Throwdown CA is where to find it. We're chatting a bit, so I'm going to scroll just to see.
I have the list in front of me if you want.
Then good. I will plug away after you get the list up.
Yeah, I have it. So plug. Are you done?
No, I can plug now, and then okay. I will actually. You know what? No, do your thing first because okay. I've got a few announcements. So
no problem. So as Chris said, we each picked 5 piece and did also then the honorable mentions sort of poll, and the 16 you've already heard Virgil, but the rest include Captain Lou Albano, Jimmy Mouth of the South Heart, Classy Freddie Blassie, Sensational Queen Sherry, Paul Ellering, James E. Cornette, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Sonny, Mr. Fuji, J.J. Dillon, Paul Heyman, Alexander York or Marlena, Teddy Long, Paul Bearer, and Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, I wonder who picked James E. Cornette.
I don't fucking know. I don't know. Could have been either of you guys.
Yeah, it wasn't either one of us. Anyways, guys, the official hashtag for TN Throwdown, I've switched over to hashtag Throwdown Army. Reason for it, I've also registered throwdownarmy.ca. What I'm going to do is link that to the official group of TNT on Facebook. So there is a page, there is a group. The group has more social interaction as well. But if you go to throwdownarmy.ca, it will take you to the Facebook group, as well as opposed to trying to make everything TN Throwdown CA, which I can barely get right at times. It is still the social media handle just because they limit some of the characters, Twitter, Instagram, whatever the case may be. But to make it easier on everybody out there, ThursdayNightThrowdown.ca is the official address now for the Thursday Night Throwdown. It just made a lot more sense. I didn't have to screw up too many T's or I's or Virgils or whatever the case may be. But if you go to ThursdayNightThrowdown.ca, that is the official web address to Thursday Night Throwdown. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about other than maybe next week's show. Shawn, are you going to be part of it?
Yeah, I have no reason not to be.
So episode 19, guys, will take place next week. We may go earlier, we may go later, we may go on time. That is going to be the Birthday Boys decision, as it is Shawn's official birthday, May 21st. Fucker was born in 1976, so he is old. And saying that, I turn about 44 about 3 weeks later, so I can't say too much. Yeah. Good news is the fact is Shawn, to my understanding, is going to be part of the show. So I know we will talk some Owen Hart because it is the anniversary of his death. We might do some Scumbags backdrop logos or whatever the case may be. But I think next week I will still run the show, but I think what I'll do is give Shawn rein on what the hell he wants to talk about. So I think in honor of that, I think Jonesy, if you're out there, you're listening and you're available, I want you to be part of the show as well. Steven, if you're available, I want you to be part of the show. But like I said, it will be Shawn's show. I will just be running things, but we will talk about whatever the hell he wants to talk about next week in celebration of his birthday. And Shawn, maybe have a beer actually next week.
I got some in this fridge beside me.
There we go. And Steven, I don't know if you drink or not, but if you're not going to drink beer, just drink some water and pretend it's pure vodka, and away we go from there.
I'll have a Caesar because I'm classy.
No, White Claw is classy. That's what Tony Khan drinks. And I still haven't been able to get through a full beer. Any episode I've done is probably still about half full. So, but anyways, it has been fun. It's been enlightening because of the fact I love the banter between us sometimes, because the fact is I don't think honestly we do enough of it. I try to make sure we hit the focal points of the week, but the fact is, Shawn and I can go back and forth as far as wrestling knowledge goes. You know, we've been to a lot of shows together. We met, we're 15 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, wrestling marks, so to speak. And then Steve and I met at the MWW show, back in October, and the rest is history. I see things getting debatable, further and further and further as the show goes on. And tomorrow night, I can't wait for it because of the managers and Virgil. Maybe I'll make Virgil my pick all the way down just to piss him off. So we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, TNT is on Patreon. You'll find the shows, the episodes on there, and then further released probably about a month later on, our social media accounts. Shawn, anything you want to follow up with?
No, I'm pretty good.
All right, Steven?
No, all good here.
All right, so I'm going to make one request since this is my show, and that is that Shawn has to rock the Hawaiian shirt next week.
Yes.
Sure.
All right, so there we go. We got it on air, so that's a sure.
Which one?
The one that you had on the Fantasy Warfare tournament that you decided not to go with.
Okay.
All right, so
Orange.
So Shawn's going to be rocking the Hawaiian shirt and a beer in hand, and Steven says he's going to have a Caesar, so it will be a drinking episode next week. So anyways, guys, until then, it's been great. Again, check out Steven's wrestling journey on, like I said, his Facebook post from his mom, as well as on YouTube. Thoughts and prayers with him for, as healthy as a recovery he can possibly have. But on that is it for episode 18. Thank you for listening and watching, and we will see you guys next week.
See you.